about halfway here.
Yes, boss. I saw the advertisement board. It certainly spells out the facts, huh? Well, we made it to episode 7. If you are a regular, please know I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my content.
How do you know when to stop embalming?
Great question. It is not necessarily when our embalming machine is empty. We look for improvements to the complexion all over, including the fingertips and toes, and also the tissues should firm up, depending on the choice of chemical used. Basically, once we have proper distribution and diffusion of our solution into the tissues, and the deceased looks more natural. Sometimes this doesn't work out perfectly as it should, and so we may have to raise more vessels or add more chemicals.
Now I have a special guest for today's education section. He will explain to you all the embalming process better than I could on video.
Hi, I'm Victor Sweeney, licensed mortician. We're here at Corsmo Funeral Service. Come on in. We're going to go into the prep room where we embalm and prepare bodies. Normally, if a person from the outside like yourself wanted to go into the prep room, they wouldn't be allowed. We've been given special access today from the Department of Health. Why don't you come with me and I'll show you what we do. So here we are in the prep room, the room where we do all the embalming. Embalming is meant to sanitize and preserve bodies, as well as provide some level of restoration. So for instance, if someone is grievously injured, we can kind of work to reconstruct them, in addition to making sure that their body holds up for maybe the week that we have in between the time when they die and the time when we have the funeral. We've taken our dummy mic from the back of the van, and now we are ready for the embalming. Every time you prepare a body, you kind of start from zero. So you're going to do inventory, you're going to look them over, you're going to make sure that you know everything about their condition, and then adjust your embalming processes accordingly. In a normal situation, I'm covered from head to toe with personal protective equipment, and that's mainly to keep me safe when I'm dealing with blood and pathogens. I'm also dealing with embalming fluids. So these are things that keep bodies preserved and sanitized, and a lot of these contain aldehydes. These are actually toxic chemicals. Every prep room is going to have ventilation, it's going to have formaldehyde level monitoring. All these things are in place to keep me safe and to make sure that we don't infect our public spaces with what we have to do here in private. One of the first steps of embalming is setting the features, so making the face into a natural expression. These are called eye caps. Sometimes when people die, their eyes are open and we can position the eyelids and have them stay that way. We use this device called a needle injector that actually punches these sharp brads into the upper and lower jaw, kind of keep it in place. They'll stay that way. The next part of embalming, after we set those features, is we're going to do what's called arterial embalming. So we're going to gain access to the arteries, and then that's how we're going to use our embalming machine to pump fluids in. So there are 3 different kinds of fluids that embalmers use when preparing a body. The first, arterial solutions are going to be fixatives. So they're going to sanitize the body, they're going to preserve it, and they're going to fix it into place. Other fluids are what we call co-injection or accessory fluids. Co-injections might add fluid to tissue. They might draw fluid out. They'll add color. Sometimes maybe a rosiness is helpful. And they are really good at preventing certain types of decomposition. Probably the most common place for a funeral director to gain access to an artery is right up here in the neck, and that is called the carotid artery. Let's say you choose not to raise the carotid artery. You can actually embalm a whole body right here from the leg. So the femoral artery is one of the largest arteries that we have access to. If you push fluid up, you can open the corresponding vein, and then the blood will drain out. And arteries are interesting because they're very rubbery. Think like a tube rubber band. And so when we put high pressure into them with the embalming machine, they're able to withstand that. The fluid just goes right into the body. So this tank here is the embalming machine, and this tube goes right down the artery and then is going to shoot fluid in at a high pressure in order to circulate that fluid through while pushing out the blood that's been pooling in the venous system. So this will actually simulate something of a heartbeat. So if you have large clots that are stuck in a venous system, you can pulse the fluid through at a high pressure and push those clots out of the body, and that'll create better distribution for our fluid and better preservation in the final procedure. We take a bottle of cavity fluid, we would actually twist it in and attach it to the top of the trocar, and then right through that same hole we made before, we'd go back in. All the while, gravity is actually drawing the fluid down and inserting that from the end of the tip back into all the holes we made, into the heart, into the lungs, and then you'll go around, back down into the abdomen. This is really, the lower part is where all the bacteria like to hang out. And that, my friends, is how you embalm a body. When I embalm my first body, it is kind of scary, kind of unnerving, because it's one of those things you have to do right the first time, and you only get one chance. So if you screw up and maybe pressure is too high and the face starts to swell and you don't see that, you've caused a problem with grandma or grandpa that you can't really fix. So attention to detail is everything.
For what it's worth, I am continuously impressed by you.
Big thank you to Mr. Sweeney. See you all soon. Here is the hearse song to see you out.
Don't ever laugh as a hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die. They wrap you up in bloody sheets to drop you 6 feet underneath.